Well, glad to be joined alongside Athletic Director for Washington State, Jon Haarlow. And Jon, I mean, it has been, I don't even know if you can put into words what the last 8 months has been for you, being the interim and then getting named the Athletic Director here at Washington State. Just maybe take me through the past 8 months and what it's been like here in Pullman.
Yeah, good question. I think the first term that comes to mind is gratefulness. The gravity of this job, the importance of this job to the university, to the community, to the state is not lost on me. The last 8 months have been a lot of fun, if I can dare say that. I'm really proud of the team. We continue to work really hard. They've risen to the challenge. There's been a lot of chances that maybe they could have just, backed down or said, "Man, this has been a lot." But they continue to rise to the occasion. So, we've hired a couple different coaches in this time. We've extended some coaches. We've retained student athletes. We've recruited student athletes. We've got these improvements going on at Gisa Field behind us. Now we announced this partnership here. So we feel like we're stacking some wins. We're trying to get out amongst the Cougs fan base and get in front of as many Cougs as we possibly can, and do feel like there's some momentum. And obviously, we celebrated earlier, kind of jokingly, the closure of our 2-year grace period here. And now we head into tomorrow with the launch of the new Pac-12, and it feels pretty good. Feels really good.
July 1st, marking the start of the new era of the Pac-12 conference. How about take us through, I mean, you don't have to go through all the way back to when, things fell apart. Let's talk about this new conference. What does it mean for Washington State? And just, whether you want to talk about resources, where do you want to start with the Pac-12 conference?
Yeah, I think it's huge. And I think to finally have, and I'm going to use air quotes, instability here because there's nothing necessarily stable in our industry at the moment, but to have our common opponent set that we can point to in every sport, every year. There's institutions there that have shared values, shared mission. They all want to elevate each other. I want to beat each other, too. The rivalries in that are really good, and I think it's a motivated group. And we still have, of all the changes, we still have opportunities to compete on a national stage, compete for NCAA opportunities, compete for conference championships, compete for a spot in the CFP. And we do all of that on national television, with our package that we have for the football schedule. And so I think it's just a tremendous opportunity. And of all when everything kind of went sideways, if you will, a handful of years ago, we knew that this was still an opportunity and that there was still something meaningful behind the Pac-12. And we're appreciative of the Pac-12 and Commissioner Gould and everything that they've done to put us in a position now that we have an opportunity to lead from the front.
Talking about the new Pac-12 with all these different, whatever it's Fresno State, Utah State, all these schools, working with those administrations as well. How has that been? How has it been working with Teresa Gould? I mean, is it seamless or is it like, oh, hey, my name is Jon Haarlow, nice to meet you, that kind of a thing?
No, it's been really good. I'm very fortunate to have known many of those athletic directors for a number of different years and have had relationships with them, and obviously I've been now in Pullman for like 5.5 years or so, and so I've known many of the Pac-12 staff, including Commissioner Gould, and so it's been a smooth partnership. So that's been really good, but again, thankful for the relationships of those ADs and some of those athletic departments that I've had. We challenge each other. We can go back and forth a little bit on some things, which is good. It's healthy. We're pushing the league forward, and by doing so, pushing our institutions forward.
Of course, it's all about the student athletes as well as the coaches. Tell us a little bit about what the coaches said, student athletes, when it comes to going into this new level of competition, maybe. What's it been like, and especially with a new era for Cougar football as well?
Yeah, I think they're ready to go. I mean, a lot of these, because they are regional opponents, one of the great things about the new Pac-12, we've had games against them on a number of different times. So a very familiar opponent set across a number of different sports, and it also aligns really well with where we're trying to be as an institution. Those markets, the Denver market and San Antonio and Austin area, we want to try and get into those markets as an institution for a general recruitment standpoint. And so coaches are fired up. Student athletes are fired up. Again, there's many of our coaches who have a history with the Pac-12, whether as a student athlete or at another institution that will be a competitor now. And so I think there's so much pride in that, and I think they're fired up and ready to go.
So before I get off that, though, let's talk a little bit about the rivalries, too. I mean, shoot, in basketball, you got a neighbor right up there to the north that's been pretty good at basketball. You also got Oregon State that has been a familiar foe for hundreds of years. Let's talk about some of these rivalries, the regionality of whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever it is. Talk about these rivalries.
Yeah, they're great, quite honestly. I mean, there's not going to be a night off in this league, and it doesn't matter what sport you're talking about. Football, strong. And I'm not going to get into any naming schools of who's the strongest because I don't want any bullet board material, but then you look at hoops, both on the men's and women's side. Look at baseball. You can go down the list. I mean, there are schools there that compete at a championship level year in and year out, and so there won't be any nights off. And obviously up north, I have the utmost respect for Chris Stanford and what he's been extraordinarily helpful to me, and but we want to beat him, and as he wants to beat us naturally, and so the rivalries are fun. We're ready for that type of energy.
Also talk a little bit, I mean, it costs money to play college athletics now. I mean, whether it's NIL, whatever. Of course, we're taping this as you guys announce your partnership with the Confederated Tribe of Colville Indians. Just tell me a little bit about what it's with revenue sharing and revenue from NIL and from this new Pac-12 conference. What are we looking at? What can Washington State expect?
Yeah. So that's our number one focus right now. It's as the industry has changed, like it or dislike it, rev share is the name of the game, and that's how we recruit and retain our student athletes. We love what we saw in recruiting and retaining this football team. That's what it takes. It takes resources to do that. So we've been out around the state talking to our stakeholders. We want no stone left unturned as far as those that might be willing to step up and help us. I think our ceiling and our potential is sky high. It's championship level. The personnel that we have, the infrastructure that we have, the only way for us to reach our potential is together and to activating our 250,000 living alumni base. It's huge, and we've got to continue to tap into that network. Any Coug that wants to have a conversation, let's do it.
My last question for you. I mean, being the guy that you are, you have a family, you've got your 2 kids and everything. In the 8 months, I know it's probably been a race. It probably doesn't feel like 8 months, but what keeps you doing this job? What makes you think I belong here at Washington State?
Yeah, that's a really good question. This is both a personal and professional thing for me. When we got here 5.5 years ago, my daughter wasn't born yet. My son was 2 years old, and this community embraced us from day one. Pullman's a special place. Getting around this state and people recognize what the Coug head is, it's meaningful. And to see what WSU went through with the Pac-12, I saw how much my kids as youngsters loved being at Coug games and that it meant something, that big-time athletics here in Pullman. And so when that happened, sure, there's been other opportunities. I took that personally to be able to come in here and try and lead this into whatever is the next iteration. And again, whether it was me in this role or being able to make an impact from a different role, that was the goal. And there are no bigger 7 or 4-year-old Coug fans than my son and daughter. My wife is all in as well. She thinks it's her new mission to make sure that our coaches, wives, partners, families, husbands are all taken care of, and that community is a real thing. And that's what makes this department in Pullman so special. And so you'll see my family running around at literally every single athletic event, usually causing a muck. But that's what makes it special. I couldn't do this without their support and being able to see them run around, how the student athletes interact with my son and daughter, and I know they do that with every kid that comes in contact with them. That's special, and that's meaningful, and that's why I get to do it.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for your time, John, and good luck in the new Pac-12.
Thanks so much.
Yep.